We have 2 minutes to go. So expect we'll start seeing some people.
I feel like there's so much anticipation with this waiting.
I know. I feel like we need the background music. The background music
Yes.
alleviate the waiting anticipation. Right?
I don't think you want me to sing, so
No,
no.
you could if you want. I was listening to the Vancouver Winter Olympics theme song. Get me pumped up. That's a good one. The I Believe in the Power of One.
Don't think I know which song you're talking about.
Well, it was 10 years ago now.
Oh.
The Vancouver 2010 Olympics, they had, you know, how they always have a theme song. There was this very triumphant, I Believe song that this young singer from Quebec did. It's pretty inspiring.
I will Google it later.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
No, Googling right now, Stephanie.
No, don't start Googling now unless you're gonna play it or sing it.
No, nobody wants me to sing.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Oh, people are coming in. Oh, there's so many. Oh, this is great. We have lots of people coming in. We'll just wait a couple more seconds or so. Make sure everybody's coming in who is going to be here. This is great. We have lots of people popping in from the conference. So I'm gonna say, Rose, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where it is you're joining us from. It's so nice to have you all here with us today. My name is Rose Anguiano-Hurst, and I'm the Executive Director of Women's Enterprise Skills Training of Windsor, Inc. in Windsor, Ontario, and I'm delighted to welcome you all to this session entitled, Why Not Us? Groundbreaking Collaborations in Creating Safe and Inclusive Workspaces for Women. I'd like to start by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of the lands we are on here today. While we meet on a virtual platform, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands, which we all call home. We do this to affirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improve our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. Women's Enterprise Skills Training sits on the territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of the First Nations, comprised of the Ojibwa, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi. We give our thanks and respect for the leadership of Indigenous land defenders across the country for always being at the forefront of protecting the earth and all of life that sustains it. As a gesture of appreciation for use of these lands, we encourage you to learn more about the land you call home by visiting native-land.ca. Today, we have an exciting workshop prepared for you that explores how you can shift your perspective from a service provider organization to be more of an ideapreneur. Yes, I said ideapreneur, using the why not us notion, and how you can create opportunities and influence real change for those you serve. But first, let me turn it over to Gurpreet to cover the agenda and the goals for the session. Gurpreet?
Thanks, Rose. Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Gurpreet Chana, and I am a relationship builder and an advocate for newcomers and women. I am passionate about creating workplaces where everyone feels welcome. My passion comes from my own experience as an immigrant, and I'm eager to help others with their settlement in a new country as well with their employment. We are so glad to have you all here with us today to explore the story of how a newcomer and a refugee service provider became an agent for change and partnered to a national groundbreaking project creating powerful change for women in Canada. I'm excited about the agenda that we have prepared for you. Over the next 90 minutes, we will explore three main themes. We will learn how you can shift the perspective from the idea of being a service provider to being an ideapreneur, as Rose mentioned, and consider how your organization can start developing new partnerships and be part of a national initiative. We will learn the reality and the challenges for women in the skilled trades and consider the roles your organization can play in influencing change for those you serve. We will also learn how we used access to diverse voices to create a national tool to improve conditions for women in the trades and consider how your organization can use these principles with employers as well. And you will also have the opportunity to add your own voice. In breakout room discussions, we will challenge you to reflect on what you have learned and consider how to challenge yourself to think more like an ideapreneur. Together, we will walk through the following questions and we will guide you towards unlocking untapped possibilities for your organization. So, what is your organization an expert at in terms of knowledge, process, and access to types of people? Who else is doing this work on a national or broader level? How could you partner, contribute, change, or inform them? What would be the first step to reach out to them? And lastly, you will have a chance to meet the catalyst, the change agent, and the relationship builders who made this collaboration possible. Please feel free to use the chat function at the bottom of your screen. If you have any questions throughout the session, we will answer those questions live at the end of the session. But first, we would like to get to know you in a quick icebreaker activity. Please enter into the chat with what organization you are from and what one or two words best describe your organization's strength. So again, please use the chat function to let us know which organization you're from and what one or two words best describe your organization's strength. So I see Northwest London Resource Center. More chats are coming. New Canadian Center Excellence, Center of Skills, two words, health with dignity. That's nice. Landmark and Renfrew. Nice. Leaders in supporting new migrants and also citizens. That's good. Okay. Thanks everyone for sharing with us, and we will look forward to exploring these strengths further during the breakout sessions. So let us tell you a little bit more about our partnership, our organizations, and what brings us here today. Rose, please go ahead and tell us more about yourself and the partnership between WESTT and CCWESTT. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Gurpreet, and thank you everyone for joining us here today. Again, my name is Rose Anguiano-Hurst, and I'm the Executive Director of a women's-based training organization located here in Windsor, Ontario. And I would like to say I see myself as an catalyst and an advocate for women of color in the workplace. For me, it's about moving forward on ideas and actions that help women of color take on new roles for success in their communities. And then our partner, WESTT and CCWESTT, we're basically two organizations that share a passion for empowering women and advocating diversity. We are a community-based organization. That's WEST. And of course, CCWESTT is a national organization. And we came together to create a national tool to improve work conditions. And in this example, we're using our Women in Skilled Trades program. And today we'd like to tell you about our collaboration and its story. At WEST, we consider ourselves leaders in positioning women for success and do that by providing education and training programs to help improve a person's employability. Each year we serve around 1,600 women that are specifically identified as Black, Indigenous, people of color, and newcomer women. We're really proud of that fact. Our participants, like many of your participants, come from all over the world and from around Canada. Through education, training, leadership, and mentorship programs, we serve employment disadvantaged women and help them gain the employment and training skills they need for employment and integration success. We are proud to be women of leadership and one of the largest women-led workforces in Windsor, Ontario, with 98% of our workforce identifying as female. As you can see from the pictures, we strive and value our diversity, and we are surpassing the 50-30 challenge issued by the federal government. Our diversity within our staff and team among our participants are of great value, and due to the richness of their experience and perspectives, we all bring to the workplace. Someone is not muted and I can hear someone speaking. Danya. For WEST, diversity is a strength that we have leveraged with the CCWESTT program to influence positive changes for women. We see ourselves as proud OCASI members providing services, and we see ourselves as women who move from ideas to action for positive and long-lasting change. You might call us ideapreneurs. So that's West of Windsor. I'd like to now hand it over to Bonnie, who can tell us a little bit more about CCWESTT. Bonnie?
Thanks, Rose. I'm so happy to be here today. I'm happy with all the great participants that are here that have reached out in the chat. Keep it up. We're going to have a few more interactive parts to the presentation. So my name is Bonnie Douglas, and I'll share a little bit about myself before I go into CCWESTT. So I am the daughter of settlers to Canada, some of whom came to this land more than 200 years ago. And the land where many of my ancestors found homes is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Attawandaron, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. I honor these peoples as the original caretakers of this land where I call home and the land where I am standing right now in my basement. I consider myself a change agent. In my former career in food manufacturing, I developed a passion and a skill for solving problems. And in fact, I learned so much about manufacturing ice cream. I probably know more about that than any one person needs to know. So for your ice cream related questions, reach out to me directly. I'm happy to answer them. Still very passionate about ice cream. I see myself as an agent for transforming workplace culture that helps empower women in all levels of their diversity. Now, the Canadian Coalition of Women in Engineering, Science, Trades and Technology, or CCWESTT, is a leader for and a voice of a national community for women in science, engineering, trades and technology, which we call CCWESTT. And I am a project manager for CCWESTT. As a national not-for-profit coalition made up of organizations and individual members, CCWESTT builds alliances and partnerships which support and celebrate a diverse CCWESTT workforce across Canada. We're proud to be leaders for women with board members who are 100% female identifying, with 20% representing BIPOC women, which is a number we're working towards growing. We also have a wide range in age diversity represented on the board, so from women in their 30s to their 70s, which adds a lot of intergenerational wisdom that can be added to the women that are in charge of this organization. So member organizations include Engineers Canada, Women in Science, Engineering and Technology, in different provinces across the country, and also organizations like Girls in Science. So from education to retention and leadership, our goal is to empower and support women who study and work in the fields of CCWESTT through mentoring, connection, and vocalizing for the women working in CCWESTT. And a major event for us is the biannual national conference, which is coming up in Halifax in May 2022. These conferences are an inspiring space that brings together women and men, partners, sponsors, stakeholders, and members to explore the successes and challenges of women working in CCWESTT fields. We also represent the voice of women in CCWESTT at various conferences, forums, including government policy discussions. And we actively engage in projects and initiatives that work towards a more diverse CCWESTT workforce in Canada. One of these initiatives was the We Are Trades project that has just been launched. And a very important partner and team member on that project with CCWESTT was Rose and her team at West of Windsor. The story of how we built that partnership and it turned into a groundbreaking collaboration is the one we'd like to share with you today. So I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to start at the beginning. No, you know what? I'm going to let the video show you. It's a flashback video that will tell the beginning of our collaboration story. So I remember the day when all this started. Back in 2019, 2 years ago, I was looking to hire someone for a new national project that was about supporting women in the skilled trades. And I needed someone who could develop partnerships and lead activities in Ontario. I posted the position and applications came in. And this one stood out. Was this an organization applying for the position? An organization? They did seem to have all the qualifications we were looking for. So I decided to explore their fit further in an interview. So Rose, West of Windsor offers an impressive list of programs. So why are you interested in this position to work with CCWESTT on the Women in Trades project?
Thanks for inviting me to speak about this. Well, there's several reasons why we thought this would be a good fit for us as an organization. First of all, we do know that you asked for a person, and then when we reviewed the job opening, we thought we could do this as an organization. It really followed a lot of the passion we have for assisting women in skilled trades, for helping women find different career paths, for the employer education work that we do. And we thought this was another way not only to help you meet your goals, but also to help us continue the work that we're doing.
Great, thank you. So last question for the interview, your chance to shine. So what makes you and your organization the best candidate for this position?
Well, we do use a phrase with our program, our Women in Skilled Trades program, and we say, why not her? So we're asking you to consider us. Why not us? We feel that with our network, you would get more than one person assisting you. You would get the passion of the entire organization, from our administration support to our Women in Skilled Trades team on the ground, working with us, helping you connect with our employers and our partners that we have in the community. And we just think it would be a great fit all around.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Rose.
Thank you.
CCWESTT Treasurer. Hello. Yes, we did fill the Ontario lead position. Yes, I have hired an organization for the job. I know it's not quite what we were looking for, but the West of Windsor organization has all the qualifications we need. The interview was great. They have established networks with both tradeswomen and employers, and I think it'll be really great for the project. Okay, bye. I hope you enjoyed that little trip down memory lane about how our two organizations met. So continue to tell our collaboration story. I'm going to invite Stephanie to lead a brief discussion on how we went about leveraging our organization's strengths towards developing the project.
Well, thank you, Bonnie. I'm delighted to be here today for this important conversation. As mentioned, my name is Stephanie Allen, and I am a relationship builder. And I'm also an advocate for women, newcomers, and people with disabilities. I see myself as a conduit that connects job seekers and employers while breaking down employment barriers and paving the way for change. I am passionate about helping people reach their goals and achieve success. So now I would like to get into a little bit more information about this project, and I'm going to talk to our panelists. So I'm going to start with Rose. Rose, can you please elaborate about why you wanted to work on a national project? Rose, you're on mute.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, and thank you, Bonnie, for revisiting that interview. That was really quite memorable and quite fun to recollect. Okay, for us, we're a community-based training organization, and we do a wide variety of employment training programs. And for us, we're always looking at ways to sustain our programs and to build our profile. So we are really proud of the work that we have been doing on the ground with our Women in Skilled Trades program. And we thought partnering with a national organization was an excellent fit for us to share our connections with the company, with the CCWESTT organization, to build our profile, and to learn and be part of such an important conversation, becoming a more inclusive workspace, developing more inclusive workspaces for women in skilled trades. And we thought our success, our regional and local success, could have an impact on a national level. We just have to be able to share our stories. So this was another really great reason for us to partner with CCWESTT, and we were so happy to be hired for the job. So anyway, to do that, West, we think it's a really great way for us to share our knowledge and understanding of the needs and issues facing women and to bridge the employer connection piece. So we were really happy with this. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you, Rose. So now we will switch to Bonnie. Bonnie, what have been the advantages of working with an organization as a team member for CCWESTT's national project?
Yeah, so hiring an organization certainly wasn't the plan. Like, we had posted a job, we do the normal, post online and send it out to the network, thinking that this was a job for an individual, somebody who could hopefully would already have some knowledge about women's experiences in the skilled trades in Ontario or Canada, and someone who could build relationships with employers, engage them in our pilot process in the Ontario region. And we were looking for someone who had those kind of relationship building abilities. And what we gained with collaborating with West instead of one person was we gained the passion and the ability of an entire organization who already understood women's issues in the skilled trades, had many of those connections. And what that allowed us to do is really move quickly when we needed to. So we definitely needed to move quickly when our pilot phase was disrupted by COVID-19. So I know everyone was disrupted by COVID-19. So good thing we were already working virtually, because I'm located in London and they're in Windsor, and we have partners at West in Canada. So that wasn't a huge pivot, but what we needed to do was move our pilot phase from in-person, where members from West of Windsor would be going in person into work sites and teaching them the principles of what we were working on with the guide in person. That all had to go on hold immediately. Those partner employers were overwhelmed with our new way of operating with COVID restrictions, so that we weren't able to re-engage with them. We switched to offering a virtual pilot workshop, and we needed to re-engage new employers to participate in that. And because West already had these great established relationships with employers and within organizations around Ontario, we were very quickly able to engage some employers quicker than I think we would have had to do if we had to start from scratch. So that was a really big gain.
Well, thank you so much, Bonnie. So now I would like to hear from Gurpreet. Gurpreet, would you please tell us how West leveraged their contacts to support the success of this project?
Yes, for sure, Stephanie. As Bonnie has mentioned, WEST had already long-term relationship with employers and community partners. The majority of our training programs have work placement and employment as a final goal. So we work hand in hand with employers to understand their hiring and training needs. At the same time, we prepare our clients or participants with jobs or skills to help them get ready for employment and meet the labor market needs of those employers. Especially through our Women in Skilled Trades program, we closely observed the challenges that women were facing in the skilled trades. And on the other hand, we also heard from employers in the trades sector the challenges they were facing in finding qualified and trained people. So we help them in connecting with our trained participant, trained women, and help them fill the vacancies they have. So this way, with the long-term connections, we were able to easily leverage those connections to support the We Are Trades project. We invited women from our program to help us understand the concerns, the challenges they were facing, which were very instrumental in the development of this tool. At the same time, we also got the support from the employers to pilot the project as well, provide us feedback during the pilot to shape this project to the next, to take it to the next step. So overall, it worked out great with their established contacts with both women and employers to help develop this tool. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Gurpreet. So we'll go back to Bonnie. Bonnie, what are you most proud of while working in collaboration for this project?
Well, I'm certainly most proud of the impact that we had on the participants in our pilot. It's not quite what we were expecting. It exceeds what we were expecting. Is what I'm so proud of. We had originally, as I said, our pilot was disrupted. So this virtual workshop we designed was asking a lot of employers. It was asking them to give us 90 minutes of their time every other week for 6 sessions, you know, a lot of screen time, and they have busy operational lives. So we weren't quite sure how well that was going to be successful. So, but when we started to get early feedback from our participants, we did find that we were connecting with them. We found a way to connect with them through different activities that we had done with them. And we started to get feedback that we actually were impacting them on a more personal level than we had expected. So some of the activities we had done, some education opportunities about privilege and about bias, were really hitting home with a lot of people that were part of our workshop. And they would reach out to us and say, you know what, I really learned something from my personal inclusion journey and how I can be a better leader and how I can engage, not just for women, but for other levels of diversity. They were learning that from us, which, you know, that was a great feeling. And also we heard from them that they started to use some of the things they learned from us right away on their site. So we heard that, you know, some of the work activities we had done with them, they were taking them and using them in their own orientation training. As soon as they were hiring new people, they were training them about how to be more inclusive, which was, you know, I'm really proud of how we were able to impact them that way.
That sounds wonderful, Bonnie. Thank you so much for sharing. And Rose, will have our final question. Rose, what did you or your organization learn from collaborating on this national project?
Thanks again, Stephanie. And I really like to build on what Bonnie and Gurpreet have been saying. I think there were a lot of really positive lessons learned. First of all, I would like to think that it lets us know that WEST is on track with the programs we're providing to empower women to pursue careers in skilled trades with our building the skills of the participants as well as with our employer relationships. That is so important and so key. It also let us know that it gave us the confidence, and we want our participants here to know that there are opportunities within their organizations where they can review their own capacity and decide what more they can do to build bigger partnerships and maybe work with national organizations as well. And we also know that we have a voice, that what we're doing matters when we're trying to help people make meaningful change. And finally, we hope that this opens a door not only for other partnerships for the WEST organization, but maybe for other organizations that are partnering, that are participating in today's professional development conference. So I think there are a lot of very positive lessons, Stephanie. Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much, Rose, and thank you as well to Bonnie and Gurpreet. This was a great discussion. There's so much to learn from collaborations like this. Now let's move on to learn more about the experiences of women in the skilled trades and put this work into context. Please, Gurpreet, take it away.
Thank you, Stephanie. At this time, we would like to share what we learned from the tradeswomen about their experiences as women working in the skilled trades. So as you may know, over the past few decades, women's participation in the labor force has increased substantially. Women make up over half of the labor workforce, yet women represent less than 13.7% of apprentices and only 6.5% in the skilled trades. Women are inclined to enter historically female-dominated sectors such as hairstyling, esthetician, early childcare education. These sectors tend to be low paying when compared to the skilled trades. For over 4 decades, the causes associated with the lack of representation for women in the trades and apprenticeship in Canada has been a matter of concern. The main barriers of women entering and staying in the trades are knowledge of opportunities and even simply not knowing how to navigate the apprenticeship process. Perception of these roles is another barrier. For example, trades are considered dirty and people think that it needs a lot of physical strength. Societal beliefs and family influence that trades are not for women becomes another barrier. Lack of female role models and mentors also impact. And lastly, the male-dominated, often toxic workplace culture. The recruitment and retention of women in the skilled trades and apprenticeship are impacted by prevalent structural barriers that limit women's participation, which we explored in a series of discussions with tradeswomen. During these focus group meetings, they also highlighted some other challenges, such as properly fitting personal protective equipment like gloves, workwear, overalls, coveralls. These were often brought as a concern. Not having properly fitting PPE creates unsafe conditions. One woman even stated, in our ideal world, the employer would seek these things out without us going and asking. So despite the slowly increasing number of women in the skilled trades and the increasing demand for more tradespeople, skilled trades facilities are still not equipped to accommodate women. One another tradeswoman stated, one washroom sends the message that you are not really trying to grow the number of women on the floor. So this need for accommodation stretches beyond physical space, and it extends to attitudes, beliefs, and practices in the workplace culture. Bullying, harassment, and discrimination can be common at work sites, which creates an unwelcoming environment. So are you really surprised to learn about these barriers for women in trades? Perhaps these stories resonate with you as well and some of the people you support. So let's take a short chat break and explore what barriers and experiences are similar to those you encounter in your field of work and what types of systemic issues you could and your organization can work towards changing. So let's use the chat function to give us little insight on what barriers your clients are facing and what systemic issues your organization can work towards changing. Please use the chat function if you have any feedback for that. Okay, That's fine. We can continue to explore more later in our session. Now at this point, I would like to share a short video which introduces the work we did together. This video features tradeswomen and their allies, and I'm proud to say that it features 3 women who are connected with the WESTT Women in Skilled Trades program. So hope you will enjoy it. Also, I would like to say that you must be sitting for a while now, and I encourage you to take a standing or stretch break to watch this video. It's a 2.5-minute video. Enjoy. Thank you.
It was pretty much every day that Charlotte made things easier.
Something that stood out to me right from the get-go was her willingness to learn.
Yeah, she's very, very skilled in what she does, and like I mentioned before, her work ethic is second to none.
I'd say she's got a good go-getter attitude. I'm sure that April has had to, throughout her career, work twice as hard in order to be recognized as half as good. Nobody busts their butt more than April, just day in, day out.
They sent me Nikki. She just made the site better. Like, she started working with our apprentices, and her work ethic brought up their work ethic.
When I first started, I had a rough go with people questioning why I was even in there. You know, like, oh, what are you doing here? Why do you need this tool?
Sexist/sexual remarks are pretty much common across the board.
Tools for women, like a simple as gloves, like an inch away from my finger, and it's floppy.
And me being the only female electrician where I'm working, I just wish there was more women.
Employers in some companies don't hire women is because they don't have the right facilities to facilitate for women that are entering the field.
Honestly, the washrooms is a big thing. You know, we don't have just a zipper to undo to go to the washroom, right? We're gonna take all the stuff off.
Women too sometimes need time to find the proper childcare to work in the trades.
I'm a single mother of 2. They helped me a lot because they supported my situation.
I don't mind being a trailblazer. I don't mind being a role model. The more women there are, the better that environment will be. We just want to be able to present it to somebody, and hopefully that one person will grab on. And that 6% will become 7%, and then it'll become 8%. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed that short video. I'm certainly proud of how we're able to include women from a lot of different types of trades, as well as different areas of Canada, and the women that were also included from the West of Windsor programs. So I do see in the chat, you can reflect on the barriers you saw in that video. Someone did share barriers such as language or experience is something that they find they run into a lot in their field of work. So thanks for sharing. I'm not surprised to hear that. I'm sure there's many that share the same. So I'm going to share with you now what we used all that information for. So we talked to all these women, we talked to employers, we learned about the situation and what's challenging about making spaces safer and inclusive for women in the skilled trades. And I will walk you through the product of the collaboration between CCWESTT and WESTT. So this photo here, I'm so pleased to share that also this group of individuals you see in this picture are women from the WESTT Skilled Trades program. We looked at a lot of stock photography, we looked at a lot of photos to choose something that we're going to use on the title page of our guide and the main landing page on the website, wearetrades.ca. And this is the one we kept coming back to, and this is the one we're using. We're really proud of the diversity of women featured in this photo and how it really represents the future of skilled trades. So at this time, I'm going to share a brief overview of what we created together in the hopes that it will help you support and advocate for inclusion with the employers you work with, and maybe you could use it yourself. It is available. So We Are Trades is designed to guide employers through the journey of addressing the issues and barriers for women in skilled trades. So these issues, as you heard from Gurpreet and in the video, they're very systemic. They've been around for a long time. Many of them are adopted into the workplace culture that exists in skilled trades today. And so changing those things takes time and effort. It's not something that you can just make a checklist for. So We Are Trades recognizes that these things do take some time and they're systemic, and presents navigating this change through 3 steps. So the steps are commit, create, and sustain. And you can see it's kind of in a circle there. So I'll give a brief overview of what step 1 would be. So step 1 is all about taking a look at current practices. It's really the only way to start making meaningful change. So the commit step asks employers to take into consideration existing hiring, training, and management practices, and then develop their own strategy to hire and retain more women, since every employer, worksite, shop is different. It's important to ask, why are they doing this? What will they do? How will they do it? And we encourage signing a pledge as a form of commitment to the changes ahead. Step 2 is an action step. So it's about recognizing that the journey doesn't stop after making the commitment, and then taking action. So these actions are to address barriers in the workplace. So our guide lists some suggested areas to start, some of the most common and or damaging ones. So those areas are in facilities and equipment like washrooms and safety equipment that we heard about, professional behaviors to curb and eliminate bullying and harassment. They would be, so it approaches the positive behaviors like speaking respectfully and not talking behind people's back. And last but not least, there's many practices dealing with people that need to be reviewed when we're thinking about safety and inclusion. So that includes recruiting and hiring practices, orientation and onboarding, so how you can make those more inclusive, but also all your other policies and processes that exist that would enable you to help keep talent where you want it to be, which is obviously with you, the best talent. So how do you retain that talent? Some strategies to start to address that. Step 3 is about recognizing that sustaining a diverse and inclusive workforce can be the hardest part of the process, and it's not easy, and that's why this step exists, because you don't stop after you make some changes. So the sustain step is about reviewing and measuring progress, celebrating, it's important to celebrate, sometimes we forget, and adjusting the plan. So one of those most impactful pieces of this sustain step is to ask the women what they need to be more supported and keep an open dialogue with them. So shockingly, this is not something that happens a lot. So it's spelled out in our guide to encourage leaders to ask women or whatever group they're looking to support more successfully what they truly need. They just need to be heard. So from step 3, the cycle repeats again. So it goes back to step 1, you review your commitment stage, you look for new changes to make in step 2, review and celebrate and adjust in step 3. So by having these actionable steps and a defined process, We Are Trades offers an adaptable plan of action, which we hope will increase the sustainability and success rate of creating inclusive workplaces for women in skilled trades. So there's a lot packed in there. There is definitely a lot packed in there, but does anyone feel like the principles and process covered in We Are Trades could be applied even outside of skilled trades? Does any of this resonate with you? So please share in the chat any ways you feel like these principles used in We Are Trades could benefit your organization or someone you work with maybe. But I'm seeing a comment in the chat saying there definitely is a shortage of employers looking to diversify their workforce to include more women. Oh yes, but daycares are also, that is a challenge for sure. Flexible work hours, shift work, there's some barriers that definitely exist based on those structures that exist with shift work, extended hours with childcare. Absolutely, that is a concern. So that's a good one to relate to. Any other ideas about how these principles could be applied outside of skilled trades? There are certainly many things that aren't exclusive to skilled trades. Outside maybe the specific protective equipment they wear. There's another thought here, yeah, that the social fields like settlement agency, there's many more women than men. Yes, this is true. Those ideas are transferable. It's true that there's certain traditional work environments that are male dominated and those that are female dominated. And settlement agency for sure, even nonprofit in general across Ontario and across Canada is female dominated, which presents a challenge in itself, right? So there's a bit of a separation happening. So, but the principles could be applied in both ways, I think, depending on which group you're trying to support more, which way you're trying to diversify. So those are some great ideas. Some of the ways that we feel We Are Trades could be reapplied, for example, is it could be reapplied to consider people with disabilities, or better include people who are identifying as LGBTQ+. That principle about asking what you need is pretty transferable to explore what an underrepresented group would need, for sure. And a call out in the chat to the 3-step process. It's true. A great overview for any organization committed to equity. I would agree also. The 3-step process is inspired by a continuous improvement process. My background being manufacturing, it is kind of in my core. And that's the approach. It's a best practice for any change you want to make. So what we found some employers didn't really consider was the fact that making improvements in equity, inclusion, diversity, it is a change. So it can be managed with a change process as you would manage other things, other changes. So the other way that we at CCWESTT feel this process could be adapted, and we'll explore it further, is applying it to the fields of science, engineering, and technology as well, outside of skilled trades. And for this next piece, Gurpreet and I would like to share the ways that the amazing regional work at WEST has been amplified on a national scale through the We Are Trades project.
Thanks, Bonnie. We are definitely very proud of our Women in Skilled Trades program and the difference it continues to make in many women's life. We have had so many success stories of women gaining long-term well-paid employment through this program. To date, 180 women have attended training through this program and gained tremendous career accomplishments. As you can see in these pictures, these are different groups of women who attended this program. You can see them doing hands-on work very professionally. And many of our women are from this program are working in the positions like general machinist, mold maker, millwright, electrician, welder, and so on. Some of these women have already obtained their Red Seal designation, and many are pursuing apprenticeships to continue with their career advancement to become a journey person. Recently, we also introduced our new construction program to help women's entry into the construction trades. And we are very proud to say that from our very first intake, 4 women from this program are working on the Gordie Howe Bridge project. And there are some great testimonials we receive on regular basis from how these programs are impacting their lives. So this woman here says that trades have given her so much, such as financial independence, a home for my family. I love the idea of being a role model to my daughters and show them that they can have a career they enjoy and passionate about. And this another participant came to Canada as a live-in caregiver, and she indicated going back to school is not an easy journey. Thank you to WEST for the wonderful opportunity, and to all the companies that give us an opportunity as a women to train us to achieve our goals and to have not just a job, but build a lifetime career. So you can see wonderful testimonials coming from the participants.
Thanks, Gurpreet. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we took that, all those successes from the programs that West of Windsor has been working on over many, many years, how we took all that and leveraged those programs and networks to develop and pilot a guide for employers of tradespeople. So here's how our collaborative work has impacted women in workplaces across the country. I have some numbers and stats to share with you. In terms of participation, our focus group discussions and pilot included 375 tradeswomen and 91 employers across the country. If you can go to the next slide there, thank you. So you can see, you can think about the women that WEST has been supporting over a number of years, 180 graduating through those programs. Once we started looking at things at a national level and engaging with women and tradeswomen in all provinces and territories, we were really able to include many of their voices in developing this work. And 91 employers have been involved at one stage or another, which is a really exceeded our targets for the project. So we piloted the guide with 5 employers who represented the sectors of manufacturing, construction, mining, and extraction, and engaged an additional 6 ally organizations who provide programs and services to women in skilled trades regions across the country. So for many other provinces doing and offering a lot of programs and services similar to WEST, we were able to partner with as well through this project. One such organization from Newfoundland and Labrador stated this: initiatives like We Are Trades provide critical support for employers on their journey towards meaningful change in their workplaces. And I also wanted to share with you a testimonial from our main pilot site, who happens to be from the West Windsor Essex Network. They shared their experience. This gentleman is he is the site director of their site. So he is the decision maker and he was very engaged in the project. So he shared that the We Are Trades pilot definitely helped strengthen my knowledge and comfort level in advocating for inclusion. I now have confidence that I have been trained by inclusion professionals, and now I feel I am capable of making change for my site. So he's become a real advocate. And in September, we launched the website, wearetrades.ca, to make our guide available to employers everywhere for free. It also has other tools and resources for advocates and allies who want to support the change. Our virtual event had 87 participants representing every province, and we'll get the territories next time, which was a great turnout and a great community of supporters of women in skilled trades from across Canada. So the question really is now, so the project is over, it's launched, but where does our collaboration go from here? So just because the project is done, it doesn't mean that our collaboration and our roles stop. So for instance, we're here telling this story now, and I'm sure we'll be sharing it again. Certainly West of Windsor will continue on in their role as relationship builders. You can go to the next slide, Danya, and continue to advocate for change. They have a great opportunity with their existing programs to promote the use of We Are Trades at their employer sites. We Are Trades could also be used to support women going through their programs to help them understand it's not them that need to change to fit the workplace, it's the workplace that needs to change to better support them. And on the CCWESTT side, we will continue in our role as a coalition to be a change agent and support change. And as an output of this work, this project, we have created a network of employers, a national network of employers with a common goal, and will create opportunities for them to meet together to learn and support each other. We also have started a new project where we will have the opportunity to build on what we learned with We Are Trades, dig deeper into how we can accelerate systemic change towards safe and inclusive science, engineering, trades, and technology workplaces. So at long last, it's your time to talk. It's breakout room time. I'd like to invite Rose to take the lead in some breakout discussions.
Okay, thank you again so much, Bonnie. What a great overview. I have to say I get chills every time we revisit the great work that's being done in our community with the Women in Skilled Trades program, and to be able to showcase that work and our partnerships with CCWESTT has really been great for us, and I hope it's been great for you. To the people in our workshop, we'd like to challenge you now and ask you, why not you? Why not you in your organizations? How can you look and think differently and look for opportunities outside or building on the programming that you're currently doing and become an ideapreneur? To dig deeper, we'll be splitting into breakout groups to discuss the following questions. What is your organization an expert at in terms of knowledge, process, and access to types of people and partnerships? Who else is doing this work in your community or on a regional or national broader level? How could you partner, contribute, change, or inform them? What would be your first step to reach out to this organization? We'll be joining you in these breakout sessions, and then we'd like each of your group to capture key points to share once we rejoin together as a main group. Bonnie?
Thanks, Rose. Yep, we're going to split up into breakout rooms, and I'm going to say we're going to take about 15 minutes in the breakout rooms. And there's a lot of people, so we'll have to make sure that we keep our comments brief so that everyone gets a chance to share if they like. But we also want to take some time and debrief together once all the groups come back together. So each room could take 2 minutes when we come back to share kind of some key learnings, and then we'll still have some time for the Q&A at the end of the session. So you should be seeing an invitation to join breakout rooms. I hope you have a great discussion, and I'll see you when we get back.
21 seconds and everyone will be back.
Hopefully everybody had great discussions during the breakout room sessions. Johnny, we are just waiting for the group 1 to come back.
Looks like everyone came back. Yeah, we closed all the rooms.
Is Bonnie here too? I guess.
Yes, Bonnie's here.
Okay. That's good.
So we want to do we can do a 1 minute debrief from each breakout room. Does room 1 want to start? I think I was in room 2.
I was room 1. So yes, I can start. So we did have some good questions and some good conversation. As not as a surprise, most, if not everybody in the room was representing an organization that works with newcomers or settlement services. But there was a good idea about how to make settlement process easier for newcomers with potentially partnering at a national level with organizations so that if a newcomer has to settle or relocate from one province to another, there's a portal set up which would allow that individual or family to connect with local or regional organizations. So maybe, for example, somebody's relocating from Alberta to Ontario, they would have access through this portal in Alberta to get things set up for somebody to settle here, maybe in Windsor or London, and just make the transition smoother. So that was just, talking about that regional level, working with a national level to assist the clients and make the whole process smoother. So that was a discussion that was had. That was the main idea that was talked about.
Yeah, that sounds great. In room 2, we had a few different groups share kind of their strengths. They're all related but different. So I thought I was going to kind of share where people saw the strengths of their organizations and where they could go from there. So there's an organization who focuses on supporting refugees. And one of their strengths that perhaps differentiates them from other organizations, not all of them, but they do have buildings for temporary accommodation. So they have kind of this other asset that they could consider leveraging or using it in a new way in addition to their current services. So I thought that was kind of a nice idea. There's also an organization who serves based on their location kind of one ethnic group, so although they might not have a diversity of ethnic groups they're serving, they've really been able to focus on the cultural needs of that ethnic group because they have such a close relationship with them. So that's kind of a good opportunity to leverage that intense knowledge of that specific group they're working with and perhaps challenge or leverage in a new way. And another group offers programs in a variety of different languages, like many different languages. So that's for sure a strength that they could think about connecting with other organizations who might need those language services or perhaps are also working in those languages, so they could leverage each other. Nice opportunities there. And there was a nice program that group was offering as well. A new program that was focused on women and helping them return to the workplace after the pandemic, which seems like a very national issue and need, certainly not exclusive to one group of people. So that certainly could be something that could be thought about on a broader level for sure.
Okay, so group 3, we had also great discussion about how to use the resources. The key message in our discussions were how to use the resources you have and innovate to create greater opportunities for our clients. So this one organization from Toronto, they a clothing bank, which they leveraged to create 3 training programs for clients. And one of them was retail and customer service program. So it was really, really good to know about them and their innovations for creating more programming from the resources they had. Another organization who shared that they have an online platform that through which the clients can connect with them before the arrival to Canada, so they can attend the orientation, they can do e-learning videos, which province they want to go to, and they can learn about the province before even coming and settling in Canada. So which gives them a lot of help preparing before immigrating to Canada. So that was a great, we had great discussions about how organizations can continue to use their resources to leverage to create greater opportunities for clients. Thank you.
Okay, well, in group 4, I basically spoke about our project and what we did and how it took place and all of that. We basically had one question, and that was basically what surprised us, or they were surprised. We asked our audience what surprised them from our story. And one of the people that provided an answer actually happened to be from the WESTT organization. Thank you, Gloria. And she said she was surprised that we actually applied for the job. And yes, that was, so I just talked a little bit about that absolutely this project came to us as the result of seeing a job posting. And we actually did a cover letter expressing how we felt we met the qualifications of the job. We did a resume type document that we call an organizational profile. And I was just able to reiterate, for us, it was an innovative way for us to continue doing the work. Instead of applying for a grant, we looked at it as applying for a job, but it still had some really fabulous outcomes. And thank you, Bonnie, for hiring us.
My pleasure. Yes, I was trying to remember. I don't think that I checked your references. That was the one thing that was different than a regular job applicant. I think I just did you had some connections with some of the folks on the CCWESTT board. So that was the reference check, basically.
Oh, good. Thank you. Okay.
So thank you everyone for sharing in these discussions. Now we're looking to address some of the questions that have come up during this session. So the first question I'm actually going to direct to Gurpreet. Gurpreet, did the women who applied to the Women in Skilled Trade program already come with an interest in pursuing the trades, or was there outreach and awareness used as a strategy to recruit participants?
So it was a mix of interest. I would say some women already knew what they wanted to do, and once they saw the program, they were really interested in pursuing the program. And some women, we were able to help them create interest through our 1-week exploration workshops. We have another great partner, Unifor Local 444, who is a group of women, and they do hands-on 1-week workshop where they give them a little introduction on what the women are going into, or they invite other women, other mentors who will explain to them and give them and share their stories about what they have gained, how they pursued the careers, and what possibilities are there in skilled trades. So in short, there were some people who were already interested in the program, and some gained the interest after attending our 1-week exploring sessions with the Unifor Local 444.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gurpreet. I actually have a question for Rose that came up in my my breakout room. So I had somebody from an organization in the GTA area ask if WESTT has ever considered being that partner to take things to a broader level. Particularly, she expressed a lot of interest in the Women in Skilled Trades program being accessible in that area. So they were wondering if you've ever considered branching out to bring the women in skilled trades to more areas within Ontario?
Wow, we definitely, thank you so much, Stephanie. What a great question. We definitely explore other trades that we could introduce in our community with some of our existing partners. One of our partners is a very important partner, and that's the manufacturing or industry sector. So we are fortunate that there are so many manufacturing-based companies in our community that there's a couple of national manufacturing and mold making associations that are housed out of Windsor, basically. They're like national networks. And one of those employers, actually, I think he's the past president. I don't think he's still the president. He's a CEO of one of the manufacturing companies here. He often says that this is a model that works and this needs to go national. So yes, we really need to look at that more closely, Stephanie, and see how we can build on our model and establish new partnerships in other parts of the province and across Canada. Thank you for asking and bringing that up. Very important.
Thank you, Rose. And I don't want Bonnie to feel left out, so I will address the last question to her. There was a question about funding. So somebody was asking about how many of the individuals that they work with are on Ontario Works. And often the programs that they wish to pursue, the cost is too high, they're not OSAP eligible, and therefore this whole barrier of accessibility to programs because of funding is not available. So they're wondering if CCWESTT or West engaged in how to make this more accessible, like funding programs, training to individuals that need it.
That is a great concern, right? It's definitely still a barrier for many people to start on that journey without the funding to support their learning. It is something that CCWESTT sees as a gap, especially in terms of working on this project. There's certainly gaps, and in addition to what Rose had just addressed, there are gaps in offerings of programs. So yes, while West of Windsor has this very strong, women in skilled trades program, it's not very common in Ontario to find that, where some other provinces have much more strong, they have more prevalent not-for-profit organizations offering something similar in a women in skilled trades program. So there's gaps in certain provinces, some have none at all. Right. So there's definitely work to be done on that. It's something that is going forward into this next project, exploring further how CCWESTT can help accelerate change. It's definitely something that we'll look into, in addition to the question about how financially people can be better supported to start to take advantage of these opportunities, because it's still a barrier. You see them kind of come and go. There might be a government fund or a grant for certain people to get involved in skilled trades. Ontario does seem to be funding some more training programs for apprentices, because they're trying to address the skills gap that's there, obviously, but it's still a challenge, and there's lots of gaps in terms of what areas have good support, especially for women in skilled trades, and what areas don't. So we'll continue. It's a great question. We'll continue to work on those in our role nationally, for sure.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much, Bonnie. And thank you to Gurpreet and Rose for your amazing feedback and insight. That was the last question for this section. So I'm going to hand it back to you, Bonnie, to close things off.
Happy to close things off, Stephanie. This has been really, really great. Thanks for everyone for joining us in these thought-provoking and sometimes challenging discussions. Rose, do you have any final thoughts before we go?
I thought it was a fabulous discussion again myself, and we just want people to take away the possibility that they have something to offer, and for them to always think about, why not your organization? What can you do to help others move along their career pathway? Thanks, Bonnie.
Thanks, Rose. Absolutely. And on behalf of myself, the change agent, Rose, the catalyst, Gurpreet and Stephanie, the relationship builders, I'd like to ask you if you see yourself any differently now. Are you too a catalyst for your organization? Could you be a change agent, a relationship builder, or someone else who could drive ideapreneurship in your organization? Feel free to share in the chat as you're preparing to leave this session. It's almost done. Feel free to leave in the chat what role do you see yourself in, whether or not it's a new role based on this discussion or one you felt you already have. Feel free to put that in, and I hope the session was beneficial for you. If you do want to continue the conversation, and feel free to reach out to any of us, ice cream or not ice cream related. Our contact information should be in the feed loop. I know that Rose is very passionate about her organization, and I'm sure she'd be willing to continue partnership and collaboration opportunity discussions. And I wish you a very excellent rest of the conference. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Get a little bit of a breather before your next session, I think, with a couple minutes to spare. And if anyone wants to ask any additional questions, we're going to be here for the next 2 minutes if you wanted to add any last thoughts. Thanks again, everybody.
Looks like there's 2 messages, Bonnie.
Thanks.
All that's from us.
I'm just saying thank you.
I was saying thank you to everyone as well.
It's wonderful. We do appreciate your time. I hope this was a good session for you. We're happy to tell our story.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Session
everyone.
go well.
I thought we were supposed to get magically
That's what I
booted.
thought too. Yeah, I thought so too. I don't think anyone's been kicked out.
Unless it takes time.
Yeah, it might. Unless they fell asleep. They're not leaving. I hope not.
Okay, I'm gonna click leave.
Okay.